Is the Austin economy and the housing market in serious trouble? Jeremy Knight, the Knight Group, your favorite Austin realtor. I was all set up today to talk about all the cool, fun stuff coming to the Austin area. And then I started seeing some articles that made me think maybe we should talk about some of the headwinds we may be facing. I was super excited at showing you that there's a new surf park that might be coming to South Austin, which is going to be really cool. You have Milestone putting in new homes down in Turner's Crossing. You have a developer in Easton Park that's finally bringing some commercial space to the Easton Park area, which was going to be pretty awesome for that. And then you have announcement that they could be expanding the Colony Park area and bringing in some commercial development there, which would be awesome for this area because it definitely needs some commercial space and things to do on the east side. And then on top of that, in Elgin, there's a new development. It's going to bring another 1,700 homes to the Elgin area. So for people that are looking to invest, this would be a great spot to look at maybe buying some investment homes because they're going to see the benefits of Samsung and all that fun stuff. Before we talk about the headwinds coming for Austin, I want to hear from you in the comment section. What do you think? Do you think all the announcement of new developments and all the stuff coming to Austin is going to outpace some of the headwinds that we're facing that we're going to talk about here? What do you think? Drop a comment below. If you watch the live streams, you'll notate that last week I actually talked about some of the things that were happening in Austin. Here you go. In the headlines and things that we've talked about on this channel quite a bit, Ian and Sarah, is the amount of jobs coming to the Austin area. And we use that as why we think that Austin's not going to crash. Well, let's talk about some of these things that are in the headlines then. So number one, we have this. Micron just announced that they are not moving to Lockhart after all, which that was a lot of jobs that were going to come to the Austin area. And we're talking billions of dollars for a plant. I read this article. They were about $1 billion short. Lockhart was getting about $4.5 billion in incentives, and New York gave them $5.5 billion in incentives. So that's why we lost Micron here. But let's look at the next article out here. Dozens of jobs for Argo AI shuts down. So they're looking at 78 employees in the Austin area will be infected. So they're losing jobs for this basically an AI company that's affiliate of Ford. So they're taking their 78 jobs out of the Austin area. You have this article today. CBRE is going to slash their payroll by $400 million. CBRE is big here in the Austin area. They're one of the biggest managed space renters here in the Austin area. So that could amount to quite a few jobs being lost here in the Austin area. Now they have places in Dallas. They have places around the U.S. So we don't know how much of that's going to actually impact the Austin area, but that could. And then we have this. Kilroy halts construction of the stadium tower in North Austin. Now, if you know anything about this, this is right next to the Austin FC. This is was going to go in right there. It's going to be office building, and they're going to put in a bunch of people in there for that. What do you think the impact is with all of these jobs that were coming? We're starting to see more and more articles say people are laying off, or jobs maybe aren't coming here that were going to come here. What do you think the long-term impact is, or even the short-term impact is on some of these jobs stop coming here, or the layoffs in the tech area in the Austin area? So here's the deal. Over the last 2 years, we've seen a huge increase in the price of homes, right? And then over the last 4 months, we've actually seen a pretty big decline from 667 to the high for the Austin area down to 550. So the housing market's really taken a hit now that we're seeing interest rates in the 7.5% range. In fact, there was an article out by The Real Deal talking about how many less realtors were actually selling homes in the Austin area. And that is a problem for a lot of realtors in the Austin area. Yet we also saw over the last few months, everybody talking about how unaffordable Austin is. And then you have the fact that taxes saw the highest increase, is about 56%, making it even more affordable. So if you're going to go vote this year, make sure you go vote for the things that might potentially, I don't know, reduce your taxes if you're worried about the tax increases in the Austin area. That's up to you. You do your thing at the voting booth, not up to me. But the complaints of Austin being expensive and the economy and interest rates going up are becoming issues. So much so that some of these headwind things like we're about to talk about could be a huge problem. So we see headlines like this. Apple and Amazon add to the dark clouds forming in the Austin area. So basically what this article goes on to talk about is that Apple will be freezing hiring according to some insiders. Now, if you read this article a little bit further down, a representative for Apple said that no, we're not freezing, but there are insiders talking about freezing the hiring. Now, Apple right now has about 7,000 employees in the Austin area, and they were building $1 billion campus to bring in more people. In fact, what I keep talking about, and a lot of other agents probably talk about as well, is the fact that we have so many jobs moving here. In fact, not too long ago, I was talking about the fact that there was 100,000 available jobs. Well, now in the tech sector, we're starting to see layoffs and freezes in hiring. And we got more bad news, so let's pay attention to this. So Amazon also in this article is talking about, with the economy in an uncertain place and in light of how many people we have hired in the last few years, said CEO Andy Jassy, the S team decided this week to pause new incremental hires in the corporate workspace. Now, if you look at Amazon, Amazon's been bringing jobs to the Domain, to Georgetown, down to San Marcos. So they've been spreading the jobs around for a while. In fact, this doesn't bode well for Austin. The e-tailing giant announced December 21st plans to create 2,000 jobs as part of the expanded hub into the Domain, which is in North Austin and considered to be the second downtown. Amazon leased all 3,300 square feet of the Domain Tower 9, which is being developed by Cousins Properties. So this could really curtail how many jobs Amazon is bringing to the Austin area. And again, if you're looking at jobs being a good determiner of the growth coming to Austin, we continue to see more jobs like this not hit the market. Well, that could be an issue. Now, a lot of people talk about the affordability in Austin being unaffordable, yet jobs like these high-paying tech jobs are what's keeping Austin off of the list of the most unaffordable. So if we start reducing these jobs and these quality of jobs in the Austin area, you could see home prices continue to drop, and Austin might become an unaffordable city, even though it already is an unaffordable city. Let's look at some other things that are on this list. So we have this information as well. Facebook parent Meta won't fill downtown Austin skyscraper. Now, this was huge news. They had just built one of the largest downtown skyscrapers in Austin, and Meta, Facebook, had set to lease the entire thing. Now they're reneging on that, and they're not doing that. So it was a 589,000 square foot building off Guadalupe and 6th. This article goes on to say the tech giant's move raises another red flag in the industry that has been booming for more than a decade now, but now faces an uncertain future as predictions mount that a recession is looming. It also opens up a huge chunk of downtown space that could be eaten up by other companies in the market where demand remains high. So this is pretty big news because we're talking about millions of dollars worth of jobs that might not be coming to the Austin area now with Meta. Meta is spending billions of dollars nationwide to consolidate the office space. According to last week's third quarter earnings call, in Q3, the company spent $413 million to reduce its office footprint and expects to spend $900 million in Q4. Now, one thing I've talked about on this channel, though, if we're talking about tech companies like this, you have in the news right now, Elon is reducing the Twitter staff. And I actually made a video not too long ago talking about maybe Elon would move Twitter to the Austin area. So if there's more free available space in the Austin area that Elon could pick up on the cheap and bring Twitter employees to Austin, we might see some of that. So, I mean, what do you think in the comments there? Do you think he will bring them or not? So then you have this as well. Iron Ox lays off half of the company, says Austin area greenhouse to remain open. This was a Silicon Valley robotic farming company that had recently opened up in the Lockhart area, and they brought about 100 jobs, and they're laying off about half of those jobs in the Lockhart area. So now we're seeing a reduction in jobs here as well. So the question remains, are we going to continue to see layoffs in the Austin area? Are we going to see a recession? Does this actually hurt home prices? Now, we've noticed that home prices for the Austin area reached a peak at 667. Now they're down to 550. We don't know what the October numbers will be, but I imagine they're going to be around that 550 number. The Austin MSA, which is a larger area around Austin, did get up to 550. Now it's down to 470. What do you think will happen for the October numbers? I think we might actually see another reduction in prices for the MSA, but what do you think? So are all of these really bad signs that we're going to see a huge recession in the Austin area and prices continue to fall as more jobs and layoffs happen? Or are we seeing enough jobs still moving here to kind of wash what we're seeing in this area? And this just in, Facebook Meta is now set to lay off a lot of employees, 87,000 employees. They have currently 2,000 in the Austin area. So this is more bad news for Facebook. And is this a bad news and bad info for the Austin area? That's up to you. You drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and watch one of these cool videos. We'll catch you in the next one.